here in Brisbane as far as you're concerned, so the 2010 election campaign, and of course the opportunities that we have to rebuild the party and its fortunes. The terms of reference of this review have been set by the party's national executive. Those terms of reference cover the scope of the election campaign, as well as a range of critical issues that I think will face our party now and into the future. How we relate to other progressive organisations as a party, the need for us to broaden participation in the party, the need to better engage our rank and file membership, people such as yourselves. And as we look beyond the last election and draw lessons from that election campaign, I'm sure that your contribution on those issues are going to assist us in rebuilding the party. We have a campaign review website, so please feel free to access that. It's www.review2010.alp.org.au. I've got that right at last. So you can formally lodge submissions there, and we'll be over the next couple of months going around, continuing to go around Australia, hear views from members such as yourself.
The KGB. Can I preface my comments by saying to John Faulkner, on the day that Kevin Rudd was being deposed, I was so grateful to see you standing beside him. It was I wasn't a particularly strong Kevin Rudd fan, although I was glad that he was our Prime Minister, because I felt he always felt he was a right-winger, and knew him in the days of the Office of Cabinet.
Right about that.
But that was a terrible day for all of Australia, and I'm grateful that you were standing beside him. When you look at what the problems were, I think he, as our leader, overpromised and underdelivered was the first thing. I really do feel that we sold out our core beliefs in so many areas. It's been alluded to before, but some of the things that came to mind for me in that area, the climate change one, I will never understand why they didn't make a better fist of that job. You know, we could have at least gone out with a bit of grace, but we seemed to sell the whole thing out. It was appalling. To have a federal government that is attacking a unionist through the ARCI, through the ABCC, I cannot understand. This is our Labor government. Here in the state, we've got our Labor government that we waited for 36 years or something, and then the abortion legislation sits there. Are these Labor governments? What are they? It really beggars belief. The other thing they didn't get the message out on was the home insulation thing. Why didn't they get out there and say the health and safety regulations in every state and how businesses run a safe operation so that young people don't get killed? I will never understand. They just didn't get the message out. They failed in many areas. On the other hand, they did it by the opinion polls, and I'm sick to the death. Oh, you folk, you can't sneeze without asking which way the opinion polls are saying you should sneeze. What has happened to the Labor Party having principles and having core beliefs and having a conscience? We need to get back to some of those so that the people out there know what we stand for. And what is happening is that the Greens are moving right in on our territory because we're moving out of it.
Could I just ask Barry, that spoke before?
The only way we're going to get anything through, given that the Greens said we won't negotiate with Labor. Now, we've got a lot to criticise in our performance in government and the way we ran this campaign. But let's not go overboard. We tried to do the right thing on an ETS, and those Greens vying with us for a certain part of the vote, refused to talk to us, and refused to allow an emissions trading scheme through. And they voted against it twice. We would have an emissions trading scheme in place today in his state. They'd be folding up investments in that filthy coal-fired power down there, and there would be a $500 million investment proceeding in gas-fired power in Victoria if that ETS in December had passed the Senate. Now listen, when you're on polling booths, never let the Greens overlook the fact there would be a price on carbon working in this country today if it had not been for the position they struck in the Senate.